Hello everyone, today I'm going to review the book called The Alchemist written by Paulo Coelho. This book is one of the most popular books around the world because people who don't even read books, they also read this book. So this book is that much popular. So this book is basically a novel where a writer tells a story of a shepherd named Santiago. He is the protagonist of this novel and his journey towards the pursuit of his dream. However, in this book review, I'm not going to discuss the storyline, what happens after this, after that, because this book has a non-fiction aspect itself in it. So what I do, I'll review the insights that writer wants us to understand. So I'll pick some situations and sentences and quotations from the writer. I'll try to explain those situations, and I'll also explain what we can learn from the instinct that writer wants us to understand. And the most interesting factor of this book is the most interesting words of the books are not even written. Meaning the writer writes something and he wants us to understand the instinct meaning of this quotations, of those lines, of those sentences. So I'll try to explain those scenarios and sentences and quotations. So first, I'm gonna explain two situations. So the Santiago, he is basically a shepherd. So once he was sleeping with his sheep, and one morning when he woke up, his sheep are also woke up. Then he thought that since his sheep are living for a while with him, they accustomed with his lifestyle, meaning when he woke up, they also woke up. Then he thought other way around. It could be he got used to with his sheep, not the sheep got used to with him. It could be when the sheep woke up, he also woke up. So from here, we can learn one thing, that is, so when we draw a conclusion from a situation, we need to think from the both of the perspectives, from our perspective and from other perspectives as well. Basically, what we do, we want to tend to draw a conclusion based on our perspective, and half of the scenario is missed from our view, and from where miscommunications come. So whatever the situation is, if we try to see the situation from different perspectives, we'll see the bigger picture. And after that, in the midday, Santiago was going through a field with his sheep. But at that time, since it was a midday, there were scorching sun, and he had his jacket with him. And he felt very disgusted because he had to carry his jacket with him amid the burning sun. Then he realized that because of his jacket, he was able to withstand the cold of the morning. And after that, he never felt burdened with his jacket. From here, we can learn one thing, that is, sometimes we may feel something is burdensome for us, but if we look back or if we look forward, we can see the bigger picture and we can see the reason of carrying that thing, and no longer that thing will seem a burden to us. For an example, if a student thinks a study is very much burdensome for him, but then he can think like after finishing his graduation, he can have a good job, which will give him a good life. So if he thinks like this, then he won't think the study as a burden, rather he will start enjoying it. And that's the catch from here. So now I will read some sentences from the writer, and I'll try to explain it. So the next quotation is, everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should lead their lives, but not about his or her life. So if you are out there and having a conversation with someone, within 5 minutes, that person can give you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. But if you ask himself or herself, might that person be in a very mess? He or she doesn't have any clue about his or her life, but is still giving advice to other people. So from here, we can learn that if we just try to focus on our life, if we just forget about others, if we can pinpoint our mistakes, our wrongdoings, if we can correct ourselves, everything else will be fine for us. Instead of focusing on others, we should be focusing more on ours, what we can do better, what we can improve, and then eventually everything else will improve as well. So the next quotation is: a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what is happening to us, and our life become controlled by the fate. That's the world's greatest lie. So the writer here says that the greatest lie of the world is the fate. So does fate exist? That shouldn't be a debate, because even though fate is real, we shouldn't believe in fate, because if we start believing in fate, then we will lose our agency, meaning we can't take proper action. Whenever we start believing in fate, we can't take actions, and inaction leads to failure as well. So therefore, writer wants us not to believe in fate, even though it could be real. The next quotation that I'm gonna describe is the most important quotation, and just for this sentence, this book is worth reading for. This quotation is that much powerful. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Oh my god, this is so powerful a line. But before I describe this line, I'll quote another line that will help describe this quotation as well. So when you really want something, it is because the desire originated in the soul of the universe. It is your mission on earth. So at first, writer says that when we want to achieve something, the whole universe conspires in helping us to achieve that goal. Because if we have a desire, meaning that desire has been originated in the soul of the world, and we have been chosen to manifest this desire, meaning the universe selects us because universe thinks us as capable of making it happen. So if we have a desire, we need to understand that this desire is not our desire in the first place. It is the desire of the soul of the universe. Soul of the universe has chosen us, meaning we are capable of making it happen. Then we don't have to worry about it. Now, what we need to do? Then writer says, the soul of the world is nourished by people's happiness. So, if we have a desire, then we know that it is the desire of the soul of the world, and universe wants us to make it happen. So, the universe will guide us through. But to nourish the soul of the universe, what we need to do, we need to be happy. So when we are happy, that means we are nourishing the soul of the universe. And when we are nourishing the soul of the universe, meaning we are taking care of the soul of the universe. And when we are taking care of the soul of the universe will help us to achieve this goal. What does it mean by the world is conspiring helping you achieve it? Meaning the universe has set everything up for us. So, and we just need to understand the signs and symbols given by the universe, and we should let the universe guide us through, because we have a desire. It is the desire of the universe, meaning it will be manifested by us. We just need to do. So what we just need to do, we just need to be happy and try to understand the signs and symbols given by the universe and have the courage to follow it through. The next quotation is, there is nothing to hold you back except yourself. So if you are pursuing a dream, but if you think like someone is holding you back for X, for Y, you can't get to that. You remember that this X and this Y is none other than you, because there is no one can hold us back except ourselves, because we put a lot of fear, hesitations, limitations on ourselves, and we think that it is not us, the others, who puts limitation on us. But in reality, it is only you who can hold yourself back. There is no one can hold yourself back except yourself. So the next thing I gonna explain is not even a sentence, it's just a word. And this words has been mentioned in many times in this book, and that word is called omen. So O-M-E-N, omen. So omen means the signs and symbols that universe gives us while we are pursuing our dream. So this is the signs and symbols that universe gives us, and if we can follow these signs and symbols, we can easily reach to our destination. But these signs and symbols are not like magical ones. These are the signs and symbols that we can find in our regular life. So if we pay attention to a day-to-day life, if we live a conscious life, if we if we put concentration on everything we do, then we can definitely find some signs, symbols, patterns that universe wants us to follow. If we can understand this, if we can recognize this, then we just need to have the courage to follow this. And if we can follow this, it will lead us to the destination that we are going for. So the next quotation is, I'm like everyone else. I see the world in terms of what I would like to see happen, not what actually does. So, so this is so true, but ironically, it's not been understood by everyone. So, what writer means is that we tend to see the world according to our perception, according to our preconceived notions. So, if we have something going on my head, I would try to project it to the other person or other situation I am in. So, if you tend to meet someone whom you don't know, but if you have some preconceived notion about him, you will see the person based on your projection, based on the things that you have in your mind, rather what the person actually is doing. And from here, a lot of miscommunications and misunderstanding happens because the person is doing something and you are perceiving something else that the person is not even doing, because we tend to see the world according to our mindset, according to our preconceived notions. We don't see the reality. But if we are aware about that, okay, well, we see things, there can be a projection bias that can lead us to the miscalculation. And then we can challenge our every decision before jumping onto it. Then we can double check our responses, and we can correct our responses if needed. So if we are aware about our projection bias, that we tend to see the world according to our preconceived mindset, then we can challenge our thinking, our responses, and then we will be able to correct them, and then all the misunderstanding and the miscommunication will go away. So the next quotation is, because I don't live in either past or my future, I'm interested only in present. If you can concentrate always on the present, you will be a happy man. So this statement has been said by a tribesman to the Santiago. So what writer here means that if we want to be happy, we need to focus on the present. But most of us, what we do, we always think about past or in the future. I have always been a cranky person because I always used to think about what happened in the past and what would happen in the future. But as soon as I started focusing on present, I start putting attention on the things that I'm doing correct now, right now, then actually what happens, my inner peace started building up, and eventually I become a happy person. So if you can focus on the present without bothering about the past or the future, definitely you will be a happy person, because if you can focus on the present, happiness comes just as a byproduct. So there is another important catch, that is the darkest hour of the night came just before the dawn. So here writer tells that the darker the night, the closer the dawn is. So if you're putting a lot of efforts on your project, on your dream, but you still can't get results, then you can remember that you may be 2 or 3 further steps away. So there is no point giving up. So here writer wants us not to give away middle of the way, because the darker the night, the closer the dawn is. The next quotation is, there is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve, the fear of failure. So right here writer says that in the pursuit of a dream, one thing can hold us back, that is the fear of failure. And fear of failure is completely different from failure. If we pursue a dream, we can be successful or we can be a failed person. That's the output. But fear of failure comes when we are in the process. And fear of failure doesn't let us concentrate on our steps, on our process that should be followed in order to be successful. So that's why writer says that fear of failure is the only reason of failure. So if you are pursuing on the journey, don't don't think about the outcome. Just think about the process you are in. Try to correct the processes that you need to take care of, and eventually you will get a good result. But if you always think that is okay, what I will, if I do this I'll be failed, if I do this I'll be failed, then definitely you will be failed because your concentration is not there. But if you just think about the process, that you're able to concentrate, and if you can concentrate, then you will find that all the mistakes you are doing, then you can correct it beforehand, and then thus eventually you can reach your goal. So if you are pursuing a dream, you need to get rid of the fear of failure. And the second to last quotation of this book review is, when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better. Oh my god, this is so insightful quotation. For example, if you are a fat person and you want to get rid of your fat and you started becoming more fit, then suddenly you will come across all the fit people around you. So those people have always been there, but you never noticed them. But since you have started becoming better, now you are noticing the better things, better persons. You are attracting the better persons, better things. So if you want to make the world better, then try to make yourself better. And you will find that everything else seems better than yesterday. So that's the catch. So if you want to make the world for a better place to live in, then we can try to make ourselves better than we were in yesterday, and eventually we'll find that everything else is becoming better as well. I'm Now I'm almost at the end of this book review, but before finishing, I would like to explain what does it mean by an alchemist. So according to the writer, not according to the Google, according to the writer, an alchemist is a person who understands the world and nature. How simple is that? When I started reading this book, initially I thought the term alchemist will be something super complex that I won't be able to comprehend. But as soon as I finished reading, then I understood that the concept of alchemist is very simple but has a deep meaning. So an alchemist is a person who can understand the world and the nature. So writer wants us to understand the signs and symbols given by the universe, to understand the nature, to understand the universe. And the writer wants us to understand the interconnection between all the elements that are out there in the universe. And if we can understand the law of universe, the patterns, the world, the nature, then we can discover or we can uncover the real treasure that lies inside us. And that's the main catch of this book. That is the protagonist Santiago. He traveled a huge distance to find the treasure under the pyramid. Then eventually he realized that the real treasure lies nowhere else inside of ourselves. So we just need to uncover it. We just need to recognize it. So if we can understand the nature, if we can understand the signs and symbols given by the universe, then we all can be an alchemist. Eventually we will find the real treasure that lies inside of us. Eventually we all will be happy. So I wish you to be a happy person onwards in your life after watching this review. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.